Петок 19 часот и 15 минути. Добре дојдовте во новата Културна Матрица. Во ова издание ќе имате прилика да се дружите со четворица врвни директори на фотографија. Ова емисија верувам дека поради тоа ќе биде особено интересна за оние кои што обожуваат во рака да држат фотоапарат или камера. Останете со нас за да ги погледнете овие интервјуа кои што ги направивме, а овде за вас ги издвоивме најважните совети кои што тие ги споделија со нас. How do you like to be in front of the camera? A cinematographer in front of the camera?
I like to be behind the camera. I like to be watching. I don't like to be doing the talking.
You don't like to be watched?
In fact, I articulate my world more with visual images than with speaking.
A pesar de todo, yo siempre he ido a todos los lugares solo. Quiero decir que no he llevado otros miembros del equipo, que puede ser el jefe, el gaffer, el jefe maquinista, el equipo de cámara, todo eso no lo he llevado. Pero en un momento dado he tenido una entrevista con unos grandes productores americanos y me dijeron que acababan de rodar con un gran director italiano y que llevaba 18 personas desde Italia, porque si no, no se encontraba a gusto. Y me preguntaban si yo llevaba mucho equipo de España. Yo les dije, yo no llevo nadie nunca. Yo me encuentro a gusto en el mundo del cine y además creo que todo el mundo aporta, aunque sea un grano de arena, a la realización de la película. Y la gente de los países tienen tanto amor al cine, de los países en los que estoy, como yo. Entonces, ¿por qué no darles su oportunidad?
¿Cuál es la importancia de lo que usted hace en una película para la película? ¿Cuál es la importancia de la luz?
Pues mira, la importancia de la luz depende de la película. Siempre es importante, pero hay ciertas películas que son en las que son muy importantes, que pueden ser películas de época, películas de mucho sentimiento, mientras que hay otras películas que puede dar casi igual. Es decir, que las películas de acción lo que es importante es que el director tenga muchísimos planos para que el espectador no piense, porque si piensa las películas de acción no valen. No hay que pensar en las películas de acción. Mientras que en las películas en que hay que pensar, la fotografía sí tiene mucha importancia.
It is important, light and framing goes together first for me, and then it's important in the sense that I do believe that images is a part of directing somehow. You know, it's a way, it's a tool also to tell a story, to build characters, and in that sense, that's for me, that's what we call cinematography.
What you learn from documentaries is the power of natural light. And I think what I try to do is create an ambience that within what you're shooting, it can be believable. So I try to recreate reality. Not necessarily the truth, but the reality.
How important is the light for you?
It's half of the work. The other half is the framing, is the composition, is the camera work. Sometimes I think that camera work is much more important than light, really. I don't know. I know that I know that a lot of people doesn't like this kind of work because so the light is really important, but the framing is really the main question. I spend much more, 80% of my time during the set is for framing, not for lighting, really.
¿Es muy importante ser innovativo, ingenioso en lo que usted hace?
Sí, es importante porque eso significa que puedes hacer muchas películas, porque puedes cubrir una gran cantidad de género de películas. Si no tienes un abanico digamos, de posibilidades de hacer cosas distintas, es muy terrible. Y además, Hay una cosa que a mí nunca me ha gustado, que es emplear una fórmula en el cine. Es decir, bueno, sí, vamos a ver la película, ponemos la luz aquí de este lado, aquí otra luz y ahí un contra y ale, venga, vamos, rodamos. Eso nunca me ha gustado hacerlo, siempre he tratado de hacer cosas distintas. Y eso, claro, evidentemente es muy bello, pero hay que estar constantemente renovándose. Pero eso es lo interesante y bello de nuestro oficio, que es muy importante estar continuamente en cambio, renovándose. Y eso te mantiene joven.
It's very important because repetition might be boring. Let's say you found something that you like. Let's call it System A, okay? If you serve this System A all the time, I mean, this is terrible. Cinema, for me, has a lot of future. So there is infinity. So it's very essential to keep on going, to keep. And anyway, we have to do it because everything is the technique, the tools are changing, and it's not only the tools. For instance, with digital, it's really a mutation, and I think films are different today. Directing is different, so you have to move all the time to keep on moving, you know, and so that's why it's really important to try to discover, and also because it's very exciting.
Do you like to work by formula? Do you have a formula? We set the light, one light there, and we start filming. It's the same way always, or like to reinvent yourself?
I like, most of all, to try and find screenplays that have meaning, and then let the screenplays dictate how I should work. And obviously, I'm working for the director, and I'm working for the actors, and I'm working for the writer, so it's a combination of finding the most sympathetic way to tell a story. So it's not about formula at all.
How much does the framing and the light change depending on the gender of the movie, on the genre, on the type of the film you're making?
Well, we have a big palette, especially with digital, which is much more elastic than film. I'm a great fan of digital. I like to shoot in digital, really, because it's lighter, it's cheaper, it's faster, and so we have a great palette in color, in contrast, and this is and then there is the lighting also. But we have a great a lot of choice to saturate, to desaturate. It's nice.
You mentioned you liked filming in digital technology. How much do you need to be innovative when it comes to your job in terms of technology? Knowing all the new things?
We need to be innovating. I try to be as much as possible sensible to any new lighting device, because all the new things are going in the direction of lightness and simplicity. We need to be faster and faster every day because the budgets are lower and lower every day. So as fast as I will be on the set, as much as the actors have the time to perform, and so that's the main question. So digital is faster and cheaper, and that's a great things for all of us.
¿Qué es lo más importante para usted? Los manos, los ojos, el movimiento de los actores.
Los ojos.
Los ojos.
Sí, los ojos son las que expresan más el interior, digamos, de los sentimientos de un actor, y son, me parece a mí, lo más importante.
It will, normally I think we discover it when we are shooting. We prepare before, of course, we speak with the director, we define what we are looking for, but then we have to do also with what actors and you know, directing, découpage suggest and offers. And actors, for instance, you know, they always offer things that maybe we did not think on, unexpected things. And it's for me, it's really important to be open enough to get that.
When I was training at Alan King Associates, I remember a conversation between Alan King and Richard Leiterman. Richard Leiterman had shot a scene for Alan King, and I had gone along and watched their dailies. And Richard was, it was about two people who were getting a divorce, a husband and a wife. And Richard, with a handheld camera, would be on the husband, and he would say something, and then he'd pan over, but he would still be talking, and then he'd be on her, and she wouldn't say anything, but he was talking, so they'd whip back, and he kept missing the dialogue. And Alan said, the important thing, Richard, is that all the time the wife was doing this with her ring. So you could have just had a close-up of the hands with the ring.
With the ring.
And we could have put the voices over that close-up, so you don't have to keep chasing the scene. You just try to find a sympathetic way to tell a story.
What are you seeking for when you're filming?
Well, there's nothing that I like or that I dislike. I try to be as much as I can closer to the idea of the director, so closer to the idea of the script and the director, because we are a part of the crew, not just a part of the crew. We are also the art director, the sound engineer. I don't want to be considered like after the director something special. We are just part of the crew, and we are trying to do what the film asks to us.
How often do you make suggestions to the actors and the director in order to make something better?
It depends. It depends on the kind of.
Do they accept
movies,
the suggestions?
Oh yes, yes. I hope that I will have suggestion from the director or from the actors. I'm not the center of the universe. We are just a part of the movie, really. And as much as I disappear, I do my work better. The best compliment that someone happened to receive is when after the screening people say, "Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that you liked that movie," because that means that anytime is different.
Do you see yourself as an artist or as a technician or somewhere in between?
I just see myself as Chris. I can't answer that.
What's the most important advice you could give to a new director of photography? What's the best piece of advice?
The best piece of advice is, say, don't go to film school, don't start in documentary films, learn about real life, learn about fitting in with real people, learn about the power of light, learn about using a handheld camera to catch the moment. Don't be dictating anything, just try to observe. The French photographer Cartier-Bresson talked about the decisive moment. So he's talking about stills, pictures, but what I'm trying to say is try to relax and catch the moment.
When you are watching a movie, do you see it as an ordinary person? Or are you always seeing the movie as a director of photography?
If I like
Can you watch a movie?
Yes, I always watch movies. I like to be on the cinema screen. I like to be on the cinema screen with other people, because the most important thing is that you cannot look at movies alone in a TV screen. You need the audience. I need the audience. I just understand the movie that I work with only if I see that movie with other people, not alone. That's the idea of cinema. There are TV. You can watch TV alone.
When you see a movie that you haven't made, that was
if
filmed
if
by
I like that movie,
your colleagues,
I lose the idea of technical problems. I lose the idea what kind of light in the DOP use. Absolutely.
Do you catch some mistakes, or maybe you say,
it depends.
I would have done this differently?
No. Only if I don't like that movie, I look at the mistakes, I look at technical questions. But if I like the movie, I'm a spectator.
Is there another challenge that has left there for you?
I would like
do?
to shoot in 3D, yes. But I'm scared because 3D, I like so much the idea of shooting movies in 3D. There's nothing strange. But the question is how it's heavy cameras, and I really hate to be slow because the camera is heavy and the things are technical problems are very difficult sometimes. So, but I like 3D. Why not? I would like to shoot in 3D.
Does it take to be physically prepared in order to do your job?
No, the
Not so
digital
much.
camera are lighter and faster, so it's good for my back.
Okay. What's the difference between filming a documentary and a feature film? You've worked both.
A documentary.
In terms of the light, in terms of framing, the way of filming?
I think I started in documentary films, and I think documentary films taught me about the power of natural light and taught me how to use a handheld camera to catch performance, which is what you do in documentaries. You try to catch the moment, you try to catch the sound, to understand what people are saying. You try not impinge on people's lives, and you try to approach the work as sympathetically as possible. And I think in a way you can bring the same disciplines to the cinema. So I feel that a good DP is somebody probably would be served well with working on documentary films. It's a good discipline.
Yeah, I hope I'm right, but I think you started as assistant of a director that was making TV commercials.
Yeah, at the beginning.
Yes, at the beginning.
I hate commercial.
You hate commercials?
Yes.
That was my question. How different is it to make a commercial from making a movie?
Well, I learned a lot of things that I don't want to do at the beginning. So, to be an assistant director in commercial, I really look at the kind of light that I didn't dislike at all. So, I try to be different as much as I can from that idea of light in beautiness, and so I hope to find the right way.
Well, it's about 3 decades that you do what you do. How much has changed? Not in terms of technology, but when it comes to ideas, when it comes to the way of the movies are made, the way of the set is made, the framing.
Well, I began this when I'd be at DOP when I was 23 years old, so I was really young, so many things have changed. I can say that we go through my first feature film was in black and white in film, then we go to color, and then we go to digital, so many things have changed, but this is the things that I like, because it's a kind of work which is not a technical work only. It's a kind of work that is changing continuously, it must change continuously. So I'm really happy. I'll never be bored by my work.
What is it like to be a lady cinematographer?
For me, I wanted to do that. I wasn't sure I was going to be a director of photography, but I tried to avoid this question of being a woman. So, avoiding this question, I think I avoid the tools of this war. Of course, I met difficulties sometimes because I was a woman, but I just decided that I didn't want to hear about that, that I would try to keep on going, considering all those problems were just normal work problem to solve.
What's the most touching story you can tell us about the time when you were filming documentaries in war zones? What's the most impressive thing that you can never forget?
Seeing people that you're with being killed, it's a horrible experience. Seeing people suffering, it's scary, it's horrible.
What are the biggest problems in the European cinema industry?
It's the money, because we were saying, you know, there is this new medium, digital, and cinema is an industry, but it's an art also. And I think for the moment the balance is a bit heavier on the industrial side. So, but it's a moment. I think there is always wave. It's like in politics, you know, social story. There is waves all the time. Maybe at the moment we are at the bottom, bottom, and then, but it's going to go up again. I think we have to investigate, because this mutation, new tools, everything industrial part has to be sort of discovered, and everybody has to take possession, and because the place of cinema, place of the image has changed. A little time is needed to try to find what to do with that, but I'm sure, I'm confident it's going to come out something from that. As always, I think that's a world history. Since the beginning, it's like that, you know.
If you have to choose something when we're talking about the problems of the world cinematography, what would you say that is the most important things? What are the problems?
The problem is that
the audience, not enough money, maybe?
No, I think that cinema, like any other form of art, must be supported by government, by Ministry of Culture, and sometimes there are, I feel that nobody really understands what kind of form of art is cinema, because there is a really, I'm really disappointed by the idea that, for example, the Italian government doesn't support enough the cinema. And this is a great mistake, because cinema is a form of art, is a form of is a way to understand better the world.
¿Cuáles son los más grandes problemas de la película europea, de la película española?
Pues ahora mismo hay un problema que no es solamente europeo, yo creo que es global. Estamos perdiendo espectadores, estamos perdiendo audiencia en el cine. Hay varios problemas que se entrecruzan, ¿no? Por un lado, hay una crisis en varios países, en Europa particularmente, en casi toda Europa, con lo que hay menos poder adquisitivo. El cine no es que sea caro, pero representa salir de casa, por lo tanto representa coger el coche, generalmente buscar un parking. Luego se ha cogido la costumbre de tomar algo en el cine. Total, que salir a ir al cine es realmente caro, y no es que sea realmente caro, sino que al final representa, si va uno varias veces en el mes, representa una suma de dinero que a lo mejor necesitas para otras cosas más perentorias.
Добро ви е познато дека последните 10 минути од Културна матрица се резервирани за најновите случувања. Следуваат вестите од културата. Срамежливата Венера од античко Скупи и раскошната копија од саркофагот на Александар Македонски се меѓу првите артефакти кои ги пречекуваат гостите во новиот археолошки музеј. Музејот е исполнет со над 6000 артефакти од 150 локалитети распоредени на 3 ката. Атмосферата на прошетката од праисторијата преку антиката па се до средниот век ја збогатуваат амбиенталната музика, видеопроекциите и интерактивните LED подови. 33 години по претходната поставка, режисерот Коле Ангеловски повторно на сцената на Драмскиот театар ја подстави хит представата Капетано Џон Пиплфокс. Оваа гусарска бајка со мечување и пеење до публиката ги доближи детските копнежи по далечните мориња и легендарниот Капетан Кука. Представата е наменета како и за децата и младите, така и за возрастните. Од старата поставка на представата повторно на сцената се Диме Илиев и Ѓокица Лукаревски. Како што истакна режисерот Коле Ангеловски, останатите од актерската екипа не биле ни родени кога Драмски го освоил целиот регион со оваа представа пред 3 децении. Деновиве од печат излезе монографијата Михајло Николовски, нашиот Папа Франк, на авторката Тина Иванова, посветена на еден од најголемите представници на македонското композиторско творештво и музичката педагогија. Поводот е јубилеот 80 години од раѓањето и 20 години од смртта на Михајло Николовски. Јасната формална структура, употребата на фолклорот, чувството за тонско обликување, за водење на убава мелодија, се само дел од спецификите во музичкиот јазик на Николовски. Авторката Тина Иванова е дипломиран музиколог, а 15 години е дел од културната рубрика на Утрински весник. Неколку животни приказни на сосема обични луѓе, животните приказни на оние кои секојдневно ги одминуваме на автобуските станици или во супермаркетите, опфаќа ново промовираниот роман Запалка. Секој од нив раскажува со потаен гнев и револт кон општеството и светот во кој што човекот живее без човечност. Некои од нив се обидуваат да го сменат, а некои се измислуваат свој собствен свет. Авторката на книгата Натали Спасова својата прва книга ја објави во 2006 и оттогаш доживеа 3 изданија. Добитничка е на 3-та награда на Меѓународниот фестивал на поезија и кратки приказни во Нови Сад. Ви пренесуваме и дел од рецензиите за долго очекуваната скопска премиера на филмот Добалчак на режисерот Столе Попов. Во својата рецензија за Вест, Марина Костова забележува дека Столе Попов се враќа по 17 годишна пауза со филм кој е целосно финансиран од македонската држава, иако според законот за филм продуцентот треба да обезбеди пари од други извори, а не само од државата. Освен буџетот од 3 милиони евра, Костова потсетува и на долгот од 800.000 евра. Според неа ликовите биле метафори кои служат за декламација на звучни слогани. Од друга страна, обидот да се направи микс меѓу вестерн класиците завршил како микс меѓу македонски народни приказни и турски серии. Костова забележува и за современиот скопски дијалект од 21 век кој е сместен пред 100 години. За должината на филмот, поточно 2 часа и 45 минути. За сличноста со прашина на Милчо Манчевски, како и за импресивните актери кои меѓутоа не добиле простор да создадат моќни улоги. Според Марина Костова, Добалчак страдал од истата мака како костимираната драма Трето полувреме. Сакал да биде спектакл, но не знаел како. И Жарко Настовски во текстот за Радио МОВ го споредува Добалчак со прашина. Според него највисоката точка на Добалчак се беспрекорното визуелно пакување и чувството на квалитетна светска продукција, кое го добивате кога го гледате филмот. Сепак филмот имал бројни слабости и недоречености. Приказната била млака, заплетот бил задушен, а обидите за духовитост завршувале со ефтин и приземен народски хумор. Настовски на Попов му забележува и за политичко-пропагандната нота, искажана преку репликите «Не на грчки значи да» и репликата «Па кај нив се е наопаку». Исто како и Костова, Настовски ја споменува должината на филмот, како и репликите на скопски современ акцент, кој не оди најдобро во пасторалниот амбиент на Македонија од пред 100 години. Заклучокот на Настовски сепак е дека сите треба да го гледаат филмот за да се помогне во собирањето пари за исплаќање на долговите. Колегата Тони Цифровски во рецензијата за Дневник пак оценува дека појавувањето на Добалчак по долги години немање достоен филм е одлично поради впечатливата режија, одличните костими и фотографија, издржаните актерски креации, прекрасната фотографија и музиката што обзема. Должината на филмот и повторувањето на одредени сцени се дел од коментарите на Цифровски, кој заклучува дека вредела меѓутоа жртвата да се направи добар филм. Ми останува уште да ви се заблагодарам за вниманието со кое што редовно не следите. До следниот петок гледајте го репризното издание и со нас дружете се на нашата Facebook страница. Секако емисијата можете да ја погледнете и на интернет страницата на 24 вести. Се гледаме следниот петок 19 часот и 15 минути. Довидување.